Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my co-owner and commentary Ashton, and this is the TWitWoW weekly recap. Now, I call myself doing pretty much the old intro. I've slightly updated it saying the best podcast on the internet today, just given where we are with pro wrestling, but I guess watching Mayu versus Takumi Iroha from Monday Gold First Stream 2026 has still got me in a good mood. That match was stellar. Anybody that's not familiar with Joshi, watch that goddamn match. I really don't know what else to say. It's absolute art.
It is
So many
on it
wrestlers.
is on Daily Motion, and John found it on Bali Rules, and I was able to find the Daily Motion link, and I posted the link to it in our Discord. So if you're in the Discord, you can just click on the Daily Motion link and watch it for free without having to pay for a subscription.
Or if you're not in the Discord, just go to our reactions to that match to Moto Go
That
First Stream
too.
because Ashton
Yeah.
provided all the links, all the relevant links, and he included the link to that match. So you've got two options. There's no reason not to watch it if you're a wrestling fan. I think so many American wrestlers can learn from it. But I say that as kind of a prelude to our wrestling section because, to be honest, the only thing I remember watching, I think I watched a bit. I watched Wendy Chu versus Kendall Gray on Evolve, with Kendall defending the Evolve Women's Championship. Kendall retained. Kendall is going to be fucking huge, I think. Crowds really like her. I think the weakest joint in her game still is the mic stuff, and even that I think has gotten a little better. Honestly, Kendall might even benefit from being like almost like a wrestling machine, Kurt Angle-esque, where she says very little and she just lets her, in-ring stuff do the talking. Maybe give her a manager, but I associate a manager more as a heel thing, and I could even see Kendall being a top babyface,
Kendall
personally.
Gray, you
So,
mean stretched out Roxanne Perez?
yes, yes. Yes, just put her in the dryer and then for 10 minutes. So I watched that. I watched Jada Parker continue with her face run. Amazing. She talked about, Blake, how she wants the spotlight and sometimes the weight that Jada carries, it's heavy, but she's always been capable and this and that. Just, doing Jada Parker things. The crowd is so behind her. Blake, for her part, she actually does get a little spotlight on her, a la heel Batista. And it's to put the spotlight where it belongs. And then Jada's like, I know you're playing, you ain't serious. Like, just really being like, I can't believe this bitch did this. And Blake, talks a little bit of trash. And then she's like, well, now we could turn the lights back on. And then Jada talks smack back to Blake, I think more or less calling her out for like being insecure and being like, if you're really going to do something, you would do it and not just talk about it. And then she was like, bye. And then, like, kind of laughed at her. Like, was like, now that, how dare you? And, kind of thing. So Jada's really feeling herself as a babyface. I'm telling you, my money right now is on her ending JC's second NXT Women's Championship reign, but we're a long way away from that, I think. So I got to keep that money
I'll
still
bet
in
that
my
it
pocket.
happens at or at least by Stand and Deliver.
I think Jada would get a huge pop too. I think the crowd has been so ready, even long before this, for her to win a title because she's such a believable talker, as we have talked about to death on this show. But yeah, those are the things that really stick out to me. I know you said you had Saturday Night's Main Event tonight on in the background because your mom wanted to watch it, so you kind of tangentially know what happened on that show. If you want to talk about anything related to that or anything that just you saw this week,
Oh,
feel
yeah.
free.
Well, okay. So Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu never had a match. They brawled throughout the arena, and then Drew McIntyre showed up and attacked both of them and incapacitated both of them. Io and Rhea retained against Roxanne and Liv in a fantastic match. Love all four of them. AJ beat Nakamura. I know that. I know that there's a match in there that I'm missing, but I know that Sami Zayn won the main event, so he's going to be challenging Drew at Rumble. Hello, are you there?
Sorry, I unmuted because I don't have crisp on, so I had to do like some searching and stuff, so I didn't want to cut through you hear my typing. No, I was kind of reacting like, oh, so Sammy did get the nod. I was kind of hoping he would just win the Rumble this year, so it kind of bums me out, but I think him and Drew should have a great fucking match. So, should be fun.
My
Should be
money's
fun.
on Roman winning the Rumble.
Yeah, I honestly, the more I think about it, the more I agree with you, because if you have Cody win it 3 fucking times, Jesus Christ.
And the funny
So
thing
yeah.
is that leaves them open to be able to basically choose Do we want to do Roman Cody 3 and then we can just put the title back on Cody before Mania? Or do we want to go ahead with a match that almost never gets stale, which is Roman Drew?
Yeah, because of how rare it happens.
And also
So
just because it's two absolute studs going at each other in a hoss fight.
absolutely. I am kind of dreading though. They're just thinking Roman Cody 3. It's like, oh my god, it's the Austin Rock whatever of our generation or whatever the fuck, and I'm like, oh my god, spare me, please. Um, so yeah, what else? Is there anything else you want to kind of put on the table?
No.
No, cool. All right then. That was a very quick wrestling section. Let's talk politics. Jesus. Okay. So let's make it real quick on the international stuff because obviously the big stuff is everything going on in Minneapolis. There is quite a bit of tragedy there, but I want to end on a hopeful note because, again, you already know the new mindset that I am trying to have in these times, which I feel like is more helpful on the whole. So, internationally, things are very interesting because I am really thinking the world is getting ready. If they don't do it by the end of this presidency, or excuse me, the end of this autocratic regime, that's more appropriate, I will be shocked because it really seems like, and by the way, what I'm alluding to, because I realized I never finished that thought, is dumping the US dollar globally. We already know BRICS. That's the ultimate aim of BRICS, is to trade outside of US currency. I think the US internationally is looking like an unstable, unreliable partner because you never know. Like every 4 years, however way the wind blows, people could vote for the guy that's like, hey, let's target this minority group. And also, do you want to hear about this time that I, did this inappropriate thing with this celebrity? And then the voter's like, well, that's good enough for me. And they vote. So Mark Carney, who is the PM of Canada, he gave a speech at Davos that everybody was like fucking swooning over because he said, "Oh, we always knew that the international rules-based order was asymmetrical and a bit of a lie because the powerful do what they can and the weak suffer what they must." And here's the thing about it, okay? So on one hand, I support BRICS and I support the rest of the world getting off of the U.S. dollar. Now, I don't say that naively. I understand that that would mean economic devastation for a lot of us. But the thing is, I've been saying it over and over. This empire needs to die. The U.S. cannot continue to be the world police. It cannot continue to be a world order where the U.S. dictates terms to everybody else. Because we see where that's gotten us. It's been
Yeah,
shit for literally everybody,
I
including
actually
us.
learned recently that apparently there was sort of I mean, I don't know if it would be unspoken or if there was something actually signed or whatever, but basically an agreement after World War II where the European nations pretty much agreed, like, all right, we're going to stop doing conquest now. And
Yeah.
United States, you guys basically get to be the world police. You guys get to, like, keep everyone in check. So if anyone tries to do another conquest, you get to be the ones to stop them from doing it.
I mean, the U.S. Sorry, I just want to take a drink of water because doing everything I can to keep warm here. Oh God.
Drinking water
The
helps keep you
U.S.
warm?
Apparently part of winter dehydration is it does make the hands and the feet colder. So if you stay hydrated, it apparently helps keep them warm. So
Gotcha.
I am testing that theory out for myself. I don't know if it's bunk science or,
Are
or
you at
true
least
science,
drinking
but
nice warm water?
yes.
Good,
Drinking
good.
cold water in these temperatures hurts me too much. I
Yeah,
always drink like room temp water. So,
same.
yes. Anyway, sorry about that. And if you hear weird sounds coming from my throat, it's me drinking and trying to burp. And I don't know. Well, I'm just trying to survive out here, people. So cut me some slack this week. But yeah, that's part of why the U.S. dropped the atomic bomb is because they wanted to solidify their position as a world power. And many historians have come out now in the last few years and said the bomb was never necessary.
No.
They were going to beat Japan without you did not
Yeah.
need to commit that. And I absolutely consider it a war crime. You did not need to commit that war crime. There it is. To win the war. And so, yeah, I mean, we see the age of American empire, what it is meant. And look, I think in one way, I like Carney's speech because, again, it signals that these other nations may really be done with Trump shit, and they may really want to get BRICS off the ground and just form new alliances. Canada is cozying up with China. China, I'm telling y'all, I've said this a few times, but I'm going to keep saying it. This is the Chinese century. They have been making moves quietly. What they're doing in the energy sector is revolutionary. I mean, they're installing solar panels like nobody's business. They're going all in on green energy. Now, there is a debate. Are they really doing the classic Marxist thing and they're doing transitions from capitalism to full, communism over time? Some people, that are Marxist, Leninist, Maoist, I'm no longer going to use the word tankies. I'm just going to say MLMs, which I know some would think multi-level marketing. But again, that means Marxist, Leninist, Maoist. Some MLMs think, yes, China is communist. Others say that China has only reconfigured capitalism. I'm honestly more sympathetic to that read. It doesn't change the fact, though, that China is ascending the world stage. They are making alliances that, in the long run, is going to make them an absolute powerhouse. And the U.S. is losing out because, again, everybody's looking at us and thinking these people are out of their fucking mind. They're in the decline, and it is what it is. What I don't like about Carney's speech, and this is the part that I really wanted to get to, it's so fucking obvious. See, this is why I agree with the scholars and the TikTokers and everybody, in that space that makes educational resources, that we do need to be thinking about the slave catchers and the time of slavery and Jim Crow, ICE being kind of an end logic of that. They are absolutely correct. 100%. This is not a contention. Why I also, though, don't bemoan people that go the World War II route and, the Gestapo and Nazi Germany and this and that, is because Hitler, when he was doing all of his conquests, he started in Africa, right? The stuff that he did in Poland and all those other places, France, he was doing it in Africa first. Nobody gave a shit, right? And I'll give you 3 guesses why that fucking was, right? And that's what this reeks of here. Because Carney now gives this speech when the Venezuelan president has already been kidnapped with his wife. And I'm telling you, the more I read about that, the more I'm wondering, was he betrayed? How much did he even know? Because his VP has said, I'll fully cooperate with the U.S. His vice president apparently knew beforehand. They were meeting with the CIA. And so I do have to wonder about that. But Maduro gets kidnapped. And they kind of hem and haw of well, he was a bad leader, but I just think this is against the UN, and then this sets a bad precedent. Nigeria got bombed because they decided to nationalize their oil. Not a fucking peep out of anybody. Israel has been committing genocide against Gaza for what, over 2 years, close to 2.5 years. Well, yeah, essentially. So let me clarify. Genocide for that many years, but the October 7th massacre and the reverberations have been over close to 2.5 years. So we'll specify events here, but you're absolutely right. Not a peep from fucking anybody. Only mealy mouth of, well, we recognize Palestinian statehood. Well, okay, what's the state? A bunch of rubble and dead children? Fucking do something. So my point being, when it's non-white, non-European bodies, you don't give a fuck. What this really is from Carney's...
You can make an argument that, and obviously this, there's a bunch of different angles to take off of this, but just on a baseline level, I do think you could make an argument that Kamala Harris lost the election because of the Palestine issue. I think there were a lot of protests going on over the summer of 2024, even college campuses. There was even that video that we watched where that woman basically said that, poor people are the first to kind of get thrown to the wolves, but these are the affluent parents' kids. So they're going to start turning on police basically at this point because of it. They're going to start turning on Israel because of it and that kind of stuff. And yeah, the fact that Kamala never let a Palestinian talk at the DNC or at any of her speeches or anything like that, that, I do genuinely think that she definitely would have had a better shot at winning the election had she just had a better, more forthright stance on Palestine.
Dude, not only is that correct, the research is on your side. Policy initiatives, I know there was one institute, I forget the name of it, but I know I even responded to somebody a while back with this comment because they were like, Kamala didn't lose because of Gaza. That is patently false. There is a Middle East institute on policy that studies these issues that I think said up to a third of voters sat it out because they did not like Kamala's position on Gaza and Palestine. You should have had a Palestinian speaker at the DNC. You should have further differentiated yourself, if you're Kamala, to be crystal clear, from Joe Biden. And then all the liberals that are like, oh, but they said that they're working around the clock on a ceasefire. Would you stop believing everything these politicians tell you? Because then it came out that that was a lie, that Biden was just letting Netanyahu do whatever the fuck he wanted. And people are getting tired of it. So we've known people on the ground, the working class, and people that just, really want to keep their finger on the pulse. We knew that the international rules-based order was bullshit. You couldn't look at the genocide that Israel has been doing to Palestine, again, if we're really being real, 4 decades, as Ashton said. But even if you want to go by more recent time and just the response to October 7th, which I don't even think Israel was clean on that either, because it really seemed like that, yeah.
Can you remind me which year October 7th happened on? Was it 2022 or 23?
I thought it was 23.
Okay.
I thought it was 23. So, yeah, anybody that witnessed that, whether you came to the party yesterday or if you're like, just somebody that's known, whether you learned for yourself or just you were there, like that it's been happening for decades, yeah, you knew the order was bullshit. You knew the order was bullshit, for a lot of events that happen to bodies that, again, the international order, quote unquote, doesn't care about because it doesn't bear that European image. And so, yeah, that's where I really have to hold Carney to account. It's like, okay, you're saying this now, okay, but like, where the fuck were you? Where the fuck was anybody when this was happening to Gaza and has been happening to Gaza again for decades? Like, it just seems to me like we see you, right? But beyond that, Trump, who, my God, I have to say this, and this might be a bit controversial for me to say, because you guys know that I have cerebral palsy. I'm friends with a lot of disabled academics and scholars, and there are some that say, oh, we really shouldn't critique Trump from like the vantage point of his cognitive ability or his health or this and that. I have to be honest, like, I get what they're saying, that you never want to play into eugenic logic, that people that are intellectually disabled might be inferior or whatever. I don't see that here. I've always seen it as this guy very clearly is out of his fucking depth. He's going to the hospital for something. I think he's being treated for Alzheimer's. And we need to talk about that. Of course.
I don't think it fucking matters because I don't think Trump is actually running goddamn anything.
That's also true. A lot of people have been saying he's like a shadow president, or not a shadow president, but like a figurehead.
Yeah.
Right?
Trump
and the real shadow president would be like your Stephen Miller. Yeah.
Trump could literally be lying in his fucking deathbed and this shit would still be going on because the actual people who are running the country are the problem. Fucking Stephen Miller and Russ Vought and Kristi Noem and fucking Hegseth
and Marco Rubio's a big one. Marco Rubio, because like, and
I would also even throw Mike Johnson in there as a huge problem. Like the whole lot of them are just rotten to the core. And Trump, for as horrible and truly vile of a human being as he is, I honestly think that he is one of the least of our problems because he has too much of a fucking ego to allow himself to become as hated as he is being right now if he had control of a situation.
Yeah, I mean, dude, here's the thing. I don't have like any sources or anything to back this up, so I want to emphasize that this is purely conjecture. But I've heard from people, like friends of mine that apparently have like studied the Trump family or this and that Trump's mental condition, it is like genetic, like hereditary, like his father suffered from it. And I mentioned his dad because it said that when his dad was running Trump Tower and he was starting to go, people would just give him papers that like meant nothing to sign and make him still feel like an executive while the company was being run. Again, like shadow leadership.
Exactly what I think is going on with Trump. They are giving him fake approval numbers, fake job numbers, fake everything to make it seem like his administration is doing a great job while they go off and install Project 2025 and ruin people's lives and basically make people hate Trump without Trump even really knowing how fucking hated he is.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know. Maybe Trump has gotten a whiff of something because apparently he was kind of ranting on Truth Social about poll numbers and saying something needs to be done. So maybe he even is starting to see on some level that he's like underwater on some things. I don't know. I can't speak to that. I do know they gave him a microphone at Davos, the World Economic Forum, and man, was that fucking something because he was talking about God knows what. I swear he's becoming more incoherent the more he talks. But he was saying that EU leaders call him daddy, which made me cringe in a way that I'm never like, it's just in my retinas forever and in my ears forever. I am never going to forget the sight of him saying it, nor him actually saying it. He tried to police Carney saying, we're the reason that you guys are even free at all. Remember that. So he's still threatening Canada, still threatening Greenland. Greenland, by the way, going through, and Canada as well, going through military exercises, calling on allies, bulking up resources because they thought an invasion was going to happen. Now, apparently, Trump has called that off and also called tariffs off that he was going to implement February 1st
And he
on these
also
issues.
apparently called off the part of his brain that remembered that penguins only live in the southern hemisphere because he thinks that they're in fucking Greenland.
Dude, we're in hell. So yeah, that is pretty much all the international stuff I have for you guys. And by the way, Iran is still under an internet blackout. Still.
That's
Still.
crazy.
Dude, like, you know what? No, because I'm not going to be the hypocrite that talks about why, like, non-white people, actually fucking matter and then just give them, like, 2 seconds. No. Iranian people are fighting for their fucking lives out here. I'm telling you, the Islamic State is brutal, and I want to be unequivocally fucking clear about this. And this is only my opinion, Ash can have his own opinion. You guys can have your own opinions if you're looking into it.
I don't have an
This
opinion.
is well, there you go. But, this is not me saying, oh, the U.S. needs to come in and do something. Oh, Israel needs to come in and do. Fuck Israel and fuck the U.S. I want the Iranian people to determine their own fucking government like they did in 1953 before the CIA was like, we're not going to be able to control that guy. Well, he's got to go. Like, fuck you.
Who was that?
Fuck you. That was when they elected their Democratic leader. I forget the guy's name, but the CIA got rid of him because he wanted to nationalize the oil. It always comes back to just wanting to nationalize oil. I swear to God, Jesus fucking Christ.
All of these fucking resource-rich countries trying to, I don't know, own the resources that they literally live on top of just can't happen when the U.S. and all these other fucking imperialist ass states exist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna reiterate it again because I know I said it last week. And actually, before I reiterate this point, let me just catch Javaris up to speed. You sweet bean. So Iran has been having massive protests over the Islamic State, Javaris. Now, this is for a variety of reasons. Because in the mountainous regions of Iran, they're dealing with a water crisis. Which, by the way, get ready for that to happen in other places too. Water wars are going to be happening in our lifetime, unless science makes like a miracle breakthrough and we get our shit together and come together. Which I'm not going to say is impossible. But Jesus fucking Christ, is it an arduous task?
The only water wars that we're going to be dealing with are people literally waging war on the water because of the fucking ice caps melting and raising the water level.
Yes. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. So yeah, the mountainous regions of Iran are dealing with a water crisis. Capitals like Tehran and other places are tired of the economic crisis. Economic conditions have been awful. The Iranian currency is in the fucking toilet. Inflation is out of control. Not to mention, and again, I want to do a proper service here as best I can. U.S. sanctions have devastated Iran, and that's been the case for at least over a decade. I mean, I remember reading about U.S. sanctions creating black markets for organs in Iran, and when COVID happened, there was a black market for medical supplies, again, because of U.S. sanctions. Again, I say, fuck the U.S. I don't really, I really need people to understand that my position, again, mine, John, whoever, if I'm going to be tired, it's me, right? Nobody else. I really just need this empire to die. So again, if they trade outside the US dollar and then it's like, oh my God, the economy's cool. Well, I guess that's the karma for this empire terrorizing everybody else since the fucking beginning of time. So yeah, they have crippled Iran for years with sanctions. Iran could have been a superpower by now with its resource capability, with its educated population. Over 80% of people in Iran that are like adult level and like proper university education level have PhDs. There is a huge youth in Iran. Yeah, no, well, I think it's either 80% of like adults or women. I know there's like an 80% stat with PhD. It's a highly educated population that really believe in education, even with the Islamic State. And yeah, like Iran could have achieved a lot, but U.S. sanctions have come in and crippled it. And other issues. The Islamic State is a repressive government. So all of this to say, to get back on task, that the Islamic State is being resisted and protested against the Iranian people. And it has been massive. It has been all over the country. All over. And the Islamic State has tried to say, oh, it's foreign interference. Oh, it's these dissenters, whatever, trying to make it seem like there is an external enemy to the Iranian people. The Iranian people are not buying it. Now, another thing you need to know, Javaris, is that there are several factions in play. There is a democratic faction, a big portion of the Iranian population that wants a democracy. There are, however, monarchists and people that want to return to the Iranian monarchy. This, I think, is something that U.S. billionaires and just other billionaires more generally want to see happen. For example, on Musk's X platform, he has changed the Iranian flag to the flag of the Iranian monarchy. That I think is pretty fucking telling. Yeah, well, it is disgusting. I think it's also pretty telling about what they want to see happen. So there are different factions. But now the Islamic State, last I checked, now again, these could be outdated numbers because it's very hard to get up-to-date information again because the blackout. You're kind of creating a cul-de-sac of information at that point. Last I checked, they were without internet for over 200 hours. And so, yeah, over 200 hours it has been an internet blackout. I think it's been a lot longer than that at this point, and they have not been able to get in touch with family and friends. God knows how many have been massacred or jailed by the Islamic State. I think the last number, again, the last number I heard, which it definitely can't be right anymore, was over 3,000 killed and 20,000 jailed by the Islamic State. It's bad, Javaris. It's bad. And these Iranian protests, I'm telling you, much like Gaza, it's going to have reverberations the world over. Like, it's not an isolated thing. That's why I wish, we just had a better grasp when Gaza was happening. Like, what they were doing in Gaza was going to be coming home to us, that imperial boomerang, as Césaire, the anti-colonial theorist, once said. All the stuff you see the IDF doing, we know that the IDF trains police forces in America. ICE has gotten training from the IDF, and you're seeing IDF tactics being used by ICE. And believe me, we're going to get to ICE in just a second. But yeah, Iran is going through... yeah, I know, right? What an exciting day for Weekly Recap. Iran has been going through massive protests. I do not want to forget about the Iranian people. I'm trying to get, fresh updates. I'm only following, admittedly, 2 sources that I do trust because they're not corporate media. But it's hard for them, again, because of the blackout, and that's the point. The Islamic State doesn't want us to know what's going on over there. They don't want us to know what they're doing to Iranian people. So just keep them in mind, and like you and I, like everybody, the one thing I want people to know about Iranians is they're complex people. There are going to be people of different opinions and backgrounds and beliefs. And I only say that because the Orientalism of the U.S., with the movies and the images and everything else trying to say that, oh, they all live in mud huts and it's always a sandstorm all the fucking time. It's bullshit. It's one of the oldest civilizations in human history, is Iran. That was the place that used to be called fucking Persia, which some people even still wish it was called that. Again, different people wanting different things. Again, there are women that have PhDs. There are people that get educated. There are universities. And yes, it is a theocracy, and it's really bad. But also, there are beautiful things that happen there too. And hey, I don't really think we have a right to judge anybody with the shit that we've got going on in our own house, quite frankly. But I hope that they're able to resist their government and do it through collective self-determination. But I really worry about foreign interference because Israel, which is nowhere near the age of Iran, but wants to act like it's some ancient civilization when it was fucking artificially created by European and U.S. powers, they want to get Iran out of the way because Netanyahu sees Iran as a big threat to their interests. And of course the U.S. would love to get Iran out of the way. 1, for the oil, and 2, for just, again, maneuvering in the Middle East and controlling the Middle East. Because the Middle East just apparently can't be left the fuck alone. So, now that I've talked about all that, and one last quick shout out to strikers and unions in Italy who are anti-Meloni, who you'd actually probably forget about, Kristen. Is it Kristen or Christy? I think it's Kristen Meloni, because I want to say Kristen Meloni, like the actress. But no, Meloni is the Italian prime minister, and she's also far right, but Trump is so fucking batshit, as is Stephen Miller and Russ Vought and everybody else, that she's actually been able to be kind of quiet on the far right spectrum. But unions in her country are protesting over the latest budget resolution, saying that the salary is insufficient, and they're shutting shit down. So solidarity to unions in Italy, solidarity to unions everywhere, actually. Mm-hmm. Because they're the ones getting fucking shit done. So we're going to work backwards on this ICE thing, okay? Because I want to end on the optimistic note, and I think it's important actually to start with the tragic note to show why the optimistic note is even fucking happening. So I woke up because I hibernated all fucking day. I didn't definitively get out of bed until 9:30. That ICE has executed another man, 37-year-old Alex. I think his last name was Pretty. Alex Pretty. He apparently was an ICU nurse, and you know, it was said that he really loved working with his patients, and he was a huge fan of mountain biking. And that's really fucking tragic that, somebody could do such a beautiful vocation, be out there because he believes in something and get met with a fucking bullet. Now, I am just going to check in. I highly doubt it. I feel like I always know the answer, but I don't want to presume anything. I'm guessing you did not watch the video of this because I did not watch the video. And that's one thing I wanted
Well,
to be clear
here's the
about.
thing. I saw several videos, but there is not a single video with an actual, like, decent angle where you can actually see what's going on. I saw one video that had a pretty good angle, clearly showing one of the ICE officers taking his gun away from him before any shots were fired. And then I saw another video that showed him trying to, like, confront someone that didn't even look like an ICE officer before the ICE officers dragged him down and killed him. But I have literally not seen any, like, decent angle of the actual shooting itself. I don't know if there's a
Okay.
video that exists of it.
I appreciate you saying all that because I have not seen any footage, and to be honest, I'm not really like looking to seek it out.
Yeah.
I feel like I already put my mental health through enough just trying to stay on top of things as much as I try to do. And I need to recognize my limits. So,
Oh, hey,
you,
Joe Keery actually called out Trump and ICE. Said that they have zero human decency.
Joe Curious, who now? If you could fill that in for us.
Steve the Hare Harrington.
Well, look at that. Based Steve once again. Oh my god. That's wonderful. That's wonderful that he said that, and I appreciate him saying that. I know there's also been a viral video of, I want to say, like a 5-year-old, no older than 7, I think, but I think it was 5, a 5-year-old in this like bunny hat that was going to be used as bait to lure the parents out. So that again is ICE tactics. And when Bovino was asked, do you have any ethical qualms about detaining a 5-year-old? He just flatly said no.
Yeah, I mean,
And
JD Vance was apparently asked about that too, and he was like, "Oh yeah, well the parent was here illegally and they arrested him. So what do you want to do? Just let the 5-year-old go home alone? No, we've got to get the 5-year-old too."
oh my god. Oh my god. Well, by the way, congratulations, Usha Vance, on her pregnancy. I'm sure that's gonna be fucking wonderful, and I'm sure you're gonna keep JD from not leaving you for Erica Kirk, who is still like doing all the pyro as if it's fucking WrestleMania every day now that her husband died. Apparently, she hired her ex onto Turning Point USA, and I just find that fucking hilarious. Like, wow, Charlie, you are so unloved by everybody, and honestly, I get it. You were pretty fucking loathsome.
Yeah,
But
he was.
yeah,
Now all
yeah.
those people that were like, "OMG, even if he was a bad person, he left behind a wife and children. You can't just be happy about him being dead." Maybe reconsider.
Yeah, and also Renee Good left behind 3 kids, and also black people that are slaughtered by police. Quite a few of them left behind children. Hell, Philando Castile, I believe, had his child in the fucking car when he was shot at a fucking traffic stop. See, this is why, okay? Like, I am glad that there has been this awakening, and again, even the polls are showing, and I'm wondering what the polls are going to say now with Alex's murder. Alex Pretty, that is, because I know we have the wonderful Alex Foster in our chat, and I've talked to just Alex on YouTube and TikTok. But yeah, Alex Pretty's murder, I do have to wonder what the polls are going to say now, because abolishing ICE was already gaining traction, like 46-43 in favor. I feel like that gap's going to widen now. I would almost have to guess. And that's why we're definitely seeing an awakening to something. And if Minnesota has taught me anything, because they did a mass strike on the 23rd, and the photos coming out of it were insane. And you're talking, I think temperatures were like -20 or something over there. I'm not even trying to be hyperbolic. Like, it was fucking freezing in Minnesota. I thought it was like rough here. I could not be a Minnesotan. And they came out in those kinds of conditions in a mass strike and shut shit down. I hope that other parts of the country would do it. We're going to have to see the fallout because Minnesota is still a hotbed. We don't know. Everybody's thinking, oh, is Trump going to use this to finally invoke the Insurrection Act? And to be honest, I don't want to underplay it. Like, obviously, every move an authoritarian regime makes is serious. But I have been of the point for a long time that if they weren't given a pretext, they would fabricate one. He was always going to do it. It was just the circumstances. And really, when I say he, we have to think also, again, shadow presidency, Stephen Miller, Russ Vogt, blah, blah, blah. They were always going to invent a pretext to do it, in my mind. Minnesota might just give them one that's just very flimsily tangible, right? And it's like, oh, we got to do it, whatever. Even though I think public opinion is seemingly is resoundingly on the side of Minnesota, which is a good thing. But I think the mass strike and everything, first of all, it gives me a lot of hope because people are collectivizing. It's done more for my optimism in an anarchist future than anything has in years because everybody that's like, anarchism isn't realistic, people wouldn't cooperate. People have literally been taking care of each other in Minnesota. And I know that there have been links to like mutual aid funds and everything. I'd be curious how many people across the country have been giving to those funds. So yeah, cooperation is possible when the infrastructure for cooperation is actually created and made. So that's one thing, is that we're seeing a lot of solidarity and interconnectedness that's very beautiful. The other thing, though, and I want to be careful how I say this because I know leftists, in the eyes of some, have a tendency to be smug, and I'm certainly not immune. But this shows how important education is about systems of oppression and violent institutions. The education here for ICE, they told on themselves. It really didn't take like a lot of complex breaking down or whatever. They are just so buffoonish and so violent, right, that they tell on themselves with their excessive use of force and this and that. I need people to really see, and I don't know how many people this platform even reaches, but hell, at least, you know, you have it on record that you said it. The interconnectedness of things. Like, I know that there have been protests where people try and separate the Minnesotan police from ICE. No, I see them as part of a continuum. They're a part of a continuum. I see cops and ICE and all these other institutions as part of a continuum meant to keep people down, to dispossess people, to break up networks of solidarity, to otherize people, you know, to continue the white supremacist project of they look different from you, therefore you shouldn't band together with them. And we need to overcome all that false consciousness. And I'm seeing the start of it because people are really looking around and they're like, why do we need ICE? That's a great question. Keep taking the question higher. Why do we need police? And then finally, the big question being, why do we need capitalists? And why do we need capitalism? So I don't know how far this is going to go because Minnesota is not backing down. I mean, again, they're going out and like fucking, to call it suboptimal might be understating it, temperatures just to tell them, get the fuck out of our state, you know, get the fuck out of our community. But it definitely needs to go higher, and it may go higher if, you know, we build the infrastructure for it too. I don't know necessarily what that looks like. I said last week, everybody's got a part to play. Even if what you think you're doing with like, oh, I only give every once in a while, or I only educate myself, you know, I watch this stuff. Good. Education is revolutionary. Giving when you can is revolutionary, especially when it's, again, to mutual aid funds and stuff like that. Do what you can. That's what Minnesota's doing. And I really do not want to capitulate to these fucking people because they have no vision for life outside of hoarding wealth and watching all of us die. In fact, speaking of watching all of us die, somebody that RFK hired, I wish I could remember their fucking name. But they said, you know, because we're seeing measles outbreaks in Texas and elsewhere, it's like, oh, well, now we're going to be able to really see, like, how many people die with a measles outbreak. You know, what's the general response? Jesus fucking Christ. So you're pretty much admitting we're going to unleash this. We're going to let it rip, like a lot of conservatives said about COVID. Just really observe, is it really that bad, guys? Do we really need a measles vaccine? These people are fucking psychopathic. It's psychopaths. You like, once we understand that we are not dealing with rational actors, which is always the idea of liberalism, right? Oh, everybody's a rational actor. We can deal with things discursively. In other words, we can deal with things by communicating, by the marketplace of ideas, right? Is the common phrase. No. The marketplace is being fucking burned down, okay? There is no substantiveness to the idea of fascism. There is no substantiveness to the idea of white supremacy or this and that. When I say substantiveness, let me be crystal clear. I mean anything of any kind of integrity or intellectual merit to the ideas of fascism or white supremacy and that. There's no debating it here, right? If I was to debate a fascist, I would be like one of my philosophical heroes, Diogenes, and I would pull my pants down and I would shit in the middle of the stage. That would be my refutation of fascism. Because you don't refute fascism with words, you refute it with actions. You refuse it with material actions. And that's what we're seeing in Minnesota. That's the fucking marketplace of ideas, are people coming together and rejecting this shit. And I agree. I know Javaris said in the Discord, it's only a matter of time before people really start to react back, and we see people like getting in shootouts with ICE and everything else. We've seen the Black Panthers come out to protect immigrants, which has been fucking wonderful. We saw another guy, I remember a while back, he said, this is my first time buying an AR-15. I'm a liberal, but I see what ICE is doing, and I don't feel safe coming to these protests unarmed. Another guy said the time for peace was over. And by the way, the two guys I'm mentioning, both white guys, both white middle-aged guys. So you're not going to be able to say, oh, they're Muslims, they haven't assimilated to our way of life, or they're black people, whatever. No, these are middle-aged fucking white guys. Alex Pretty was a 37-year-old white guy. Like, you can't use that anymore, and even if you did use it, it would be fucking wrong and disgusting. But they can't even use that racist pretext. No. It is all of us against these motherfuckers. All of us. And so, big shout out to Minnesota, man, because they did that mass strike, and it was massive. I don't know what the reverberations are going to be, especially in light of this murder now by ICE. But and again, the second really prolific one this year. But of course, we know that they've had several murders since Trump has taken the reins, and Stephen Miller especially has taken the reins. So we'll have to see, but. Yeah, I mean, things are really coming undone, guys. I mean, we are seeing a new international order being formed with everything I've already talked about. And we're definitely seeing a new makeup take shape in the United States, of like oligarchic autocracy, but also popular resistance, right? And this is why I said years ago, I was shocked that even for capitalism's own self-preservation, it didn't go with Bernie Sanders and just the social democrats and stuff like that wanted to do strong welfareism and stuff like that, because now this is what you're getting. You're getting a far right that wants to do, again, Holocaust 2.0 and oligarchs and this and that. And now you're getting just the contours, the vague outlines of a very angry populist kind of movement made up of a bunch of people, but that are kind of feeling more left-wing sympathetically as far as like abolish ICE, universal health care, all this stuff. And now it's a powder keg waiting to explode. So we're going to have to see, because Minnesota is really going to be the site of a lot of shit. But I think that's essentially it for politics. I'm probably forgetting some stuff, but guys, I mean, it's a million miles a minute with these fucking people. So that's all the stuff I could think to say. Ash, if there's anything you wanted to say, we can move on to just pop culture and just recreational stuff that we've done this week. So
let's move on.
All right. Well, now we can begin on a much more fun note. We can continue with the mini-series of Can I Beat Triple H in SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 as Randy Orton? And I'm happy to report that yes, I fucking can. So, here's how it all went down, y'all. I restart season mode with Randy Orton. I begin the first storyline again, where I'm kind of teaming with Shelton Benjamin. We're doing all these things. I lose to Triple H in the first match. I kind of blame Ric Flair a little bit, because he kind of, when I was on the outside.
Shit.
Exactly. See, you fucking get it, that piece of shit. He kind of attacked me on the outside and this and that. I ultimately fell to a sleeper hold in that match. So then we go, and I simulate a lot of matches because I just want to have my Triple H matches. I become obsessed at this point. Finally, I get him inside a steel cage. No Ric Flair, no Shelton, no bullshit. And I'm like, okay, well, a steel cage is pretty much a Hell in a Cell without the roof. I can do this, right? I can do this. And we go back and forth, and it was a competitive match. One thing I love about facing the AI on Legendary mode, it really does feel like a back-and-forth wrestling match. I'm like, I can't make a single mistake because I will pay for it. There was a point he gets a backbreaker on me, and he starts climbing the cage, and he was this close to getting out before I recovered and was able to pull him off. We go back and forth. At this point, he had countered the RKO 3 times. We have a strike exchange. I'm blocking his punches, and I'm hitting him, and he's still trying to hit me. Finally, I hit him once. I hit the RKO. I'm feeling weak as shit. I pretty much walk ever so slowly over to him. I pin him 1, 2, 3, and I finally beat Triple H at SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. That was cathartic as fuck. I hit that RKO after he counted it 3 times, and I'm like, no, this has to be it. Because if he kicks out, I will cry. Okay, I have nothing left. So I pinned him, and it felt so good. And then. So pretty much I always like to start these segments about what I've been doing on the handheld you got me. I played a shit ton of the Super Nintendo classic ABC Monday Night Football. where I won the Super Bowl as Atlanta. You hear that, Foster? I won it as Atlanta. I'm trying to think the team that I beat last. Was it Buffalo? I think it was Buffalo that I beat last, potentially. Either them or damn it, I honestly don't remember. But I beat them, and now I'm starting a new season. I'm currently undefeated. I've experimented with my run game. I've experimented with my passing game. I played a game against Minnesota where I got a shit ton of interceptions. God, it feels good to get an interception. Oh, you thought this was your turn to possess the ball? Fuck you. And yeah, I've just been kind of just stomping them the fuck out. And so yeah, really for me, just on my own private time, a lot of my time has just been playing my sweet little handheld, and I charge it again in case I lose power. And I'm like, oh noes, but oh wait a minute, I have blankets and video games, and I can just get through it with that. So once again, thanks to your beautiful face. And it just feels really good that I finally beat Triple H. I mean, I was really starting to get a complex over that, and if you've heard me talk, you know that I have enough mental issues that I really don't need anymore. The bandwidth's kind of used up, so just I'm really grateful we were able to avoid that one. And yeah, that's been that on that. And just watching more Life After Lockup with the family. I love my trashy reality TV. Fuck the carceral state, and I think parole is a bunch of bullshit. But also, these people are kind of messy in their own lives. It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. But I love it. It's a good time. It's a good time. And with that, I mean, I know I could say more that we shared, but I think I'll just hand it over to you because I know you'll have quite a bit to say this week as well. So, how have things been going with you?
It has been a very music heavy week this week, just like I predicted it would be last week when we had this segment. And I said that I didn't really have much music to talk about last week because it was all building up to this point. Because XG finally dropped their entire first full feature length album. There were, I believe, 6 brand new, never before heard songs on there, including Hypnotize, which is the one that got a music video already, and we watched that on Friday night when it dropped. Uh, I absolutely love the new album. There isn't a single bad track in there. Honestly, I think that my least favorite song on the new album is one that's been out since December, since actually Christmas Eve. It's the slower like Christmassy song Four Seasons, and it is an absolutely beautiful song. But tonally, it is first of all, it just doesn't fit with the rest of the album, and second of all, it like the song itself clashes a lot with the video. Like the song is very sad, and it's about losing a loved one in the mourning process and how time kind of changes. The way you process time changes when you're mourning the death of a loved one. And then the music video is 3 adorable, cute girls being adorable and cute and like smiley and shit. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense. Um, but again, the song is absolutely gorgeous. And every single other track on the album, and there are a grand total of 9 actual songs on the album because it's 10 tracks, but the first track is like an intro, which is not really much of a song. But the other 9, including Four Seasons, are all fantastic. The 8 that aren't Four Seasons, I think, are very comprehensive because it's a very upbeat album in general, which is why Four Seasons I think doesn't really fit it for me. I have already listened to the entire thing several times, probably at least a dozen times at this point. My absolute favorite song on the album is Hypnotize, which is the new one that just got a music video. I should give a shout out to Gala, which is the video that came out in the fall, because that I literally listened to that song on repeat for like a week straight, and that is very rare for me. But I'm just so like it's already like a part of my sort of lexicon, I guess you could say in a way. So it's like I don't really feel like I need to like grade it anymore. But then yeah, Hypnotize is amazing. There is, dude, John, I don't know if I told you this already, but they actually made a pop punk song on this album, and it's called ORB, obviously reads bro, and it is also the first ever XG song to feature cussing in it. They literally say fuck you in this song. It's amazing.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, you did tell me. I'm hyped whenever I get around to listening to the album, which I don't know when, but it's on my mind big time for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Good shit.
So yeah, that's been the vast majority of my time lately. I have been trying to get in some time playing Minecraft more lately, but last night when I intended to spend several hours playing Minecraft, I ended up actually getting sucked into working on a spreadsheet for Golden Sun because I have also been getting back into Golden Sun lately. I have a spreadsheet going now, which is basically analyzing the not proper, but the optimal class combination for the characters in that game at any given level with any given combination of Ginny. So that's been sort of a side project that I've been working on lately. And that's really, oh, you know what? I did actually get a new game and I played it for a couple hours the other night. It was really fun. Let me see if I can find it. I don't remember the name of it. It is a puzzle game and it is sort of a like musical puzzle game where like it's sort of like a path where there's like a light that follows a path and you have to lay down these like hexagonal puzzle pieces in such a way that will allow the light to continue along this path and your goal is to make it cross as many puzzle pieces as possible. Let me see if I can find this game. What is the name of it? I know I don't have it downloaded on my Lenovo laptop, so it should be grayed out. Oh man, I'm having a hard time finding it. I thought it would be lower down. No, that's not it. Um, Damn. I'm sorry, I can't find it right now. Are you still there, John?
I am still here, brother. I just, I know when you get in a flow and I leave you with a segment, I don't want to like cut you off and all my excitability, whatever. It's all right that you can't find it. Do you want to just move on to another thing, or I could fill time while you keep looking for it? Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, I know we've also, just to stay on that segment while you're looking for it, we've been keeping up with Percy Jackson and the Olympian season 2, which has been quite nice. We
Yes,
rewatched
we
season 1 as
rewatched
well.
all of season 1 and we watched the first 4 episodes so far of season 2.
Yes, yes. It's been quite good. It's been quite good. I've been enjoying it. Let's see what else. Obviously we do like a lot of YouTube stuff. I know we're getting ready after Percy Jackson. We're gonna be watching Wonder Man. I'm excited to see that series. It's actually the most intrigued I've been about a Marvel property in a minute, just because I think the teasers and the trailers have done a really good job, like telling us what's it about, but not overplaying its hand too much.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. Um, God, yeah, I know there's going to be a lot of cool stuff for us coming down the pipeline. We watched the Invincible trailer for the upcoming season, March 18th, I believe it is. Man, that looks like it's going to be fucking good. Some people noted in the comments that they felt like the animation, like they finally gave more of an animation budget, which I think is really cool. I'm excited for it, man. Mark has been put through the fucking ringer, him and Eve both. So I'm really
Yeah.
curious how they're going to like navigate the crisis to come. And it really seems like just an intergalactic scale kind of conflict between the Viltrumites and everyone else. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
that's going to be really, really cool.
I finally found this
Um,
game. It's called Oxytone. O X
there we
Y.
go.
Yeah, Oxytone. Oxytone. It's a very like zen game. Like if you're ever just in the mood to like sit there and just vibe for a couple hours, I would definitely recommend checking it out. It's very vibey.
There you go. There you go. Um, anything else you wanted to mention?
I would say no, I don't think I have anything else actually. I mean, you and I have obviously still been playing Rocket League and Brawlhalla occasionally. It's been Brawlhalla pretty much every night and Rocket League occasionally. I mean, we do have
Yes.
other games that we could check out. We do have Trine, and we did both just get Plate Up very recently. Those are two games that I want us to give a shot at some point. But just lately, we've been really kind of in the groove with Brawlhalla, especially.
Yes. So all right then. I guess with that we can move on to Q&A. So let's pull up our Q&A questions for this week in review. I think they're all Super Blue potentially. So yeah. We've got 7 questions from Super Blue. So I
Is
guess we
that
can
everything that we have? That's our entire Q&A
yeah.
set.
Yeah, from what I'm
My
seeing, yeah, it's just
goodness. Okay,
7
well.
questions from Super Blue. So let's do it.
First question from Superblue. Why does NXT hate Mr. Chase? His team lost to Swipe Left. Swipe Ugg, right? I don't know what he's trying to say there. And
Yeah.
he has to face Carver to qualify for the NXT title ladder match next week.
I don't think it's that they hate Mr. Chase. I just think it's that NXT booking sees him as like a mid carder. I thought there was a brief period he could have been like a babyface that flirted with the main event but was unsuccessful, and they just seemingly disagreed. So there you go. And that's all I have to say about that. And it is swipe right, and they're an amazing tag team, and they're gonna be NXT tag team champions, and they're gonna have gold, unlike LA Knight. So yeah. Anyway, anything you want to add to this?
Um, no, not really. I think it's really just a matter that Mr. Chase is kind of a gatekeeper type, where he's kind of like a mid card guy who is going to whose main job really is just to kind of put over main event talent, and yeah, Keanu Carver is definitely that. So,
There you
next
go.
question: would you live inside a volcano? No. Anything to add, John?
I think I would try it. I mean, fuck, we
You
all gotta
know,
die sometime, and
I'm
yeah,
not
the volcano would
surprised.
kill me.
You would.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna let you handle this one because I've heard this question before, and I heard a really great like rebuke of this question, but I forget it. And maybe you, because you're more of like the physical sciences kind of guy, could really like give an answer to this. Because Super Blue's third question is water wet?
Yeah.
And I know somebody gave a great like refutation of this question, being like this question is bullshit, but I
Yeah.
forget why.
Well, because water in and of itself cannot be wet, because water is the very thing that makes other things wet. So, like, if you have a cup full of water, you wouldn't say that that cup is wet. You would just say you have a cup full of water. But if you have, say, water that you would dump on the outside of that cup where you're supposed to touch it, then you would say the cup is wet. Basically, anytime that water is someplace that it's not supposed to be, it is making whatever the thing is that it's not supposed to be on wet. And water is always supposed to be in itself. So obviously, water can't be wet.
Well, there you go. Question 4. Would you donate to Stokely to help this cause to himself? And yeah, apparently
No.
there's a link that he said he has been the victim of multiple assaults, unbridled hate, and constant reminders that he gets no hose. Won't you find it in your heart to help? If I had money and we weren't in the middle of fascism right now, I absolutely would help Big Stoke. He is a
Oh,
man. He is a
John.
legend. He is a beautiful human being and quite frankly better than most of you. And so yeah, I absolutely would help, but given that everything's kind of on fire, I have other priorities. So unfortunately, Stoke, I love you, my man, but it's gonna have to be a no at this point in time. And I'm guessing you're
Stokely
just a no flatly.
Stokely is hilarious, but no.
Wow. Wow. You know what?
It's funny that you
Not
say wow in that tone because that was my exact reaction to you saying yes.
awesome. All right, question 5. Um Do you think Trey? Okay, this is Trey Miguel and the homophobic tweets that he had. Do you think Trey getting fired by Warner Brothers was fair or foul? This is the Facebook post from 2020 that got him fired. So it was a Facebook post from 2020 that got him fired, and he did apologize for the post and hasn't said any hard stuff since then. Trey Miguel, I really don't want to read like what he said, but yeah, it was like homophobic stuff. It essentially was saying like, "Oh, you're only gay because you're unattractive, and like when you're unattractive, being gay is the only option." That was pretty much the essence, I think, of what he said. Which, wow. Um, Look, I'm gonna be truthful. I really don't give a shit too much about Trey's kind of problems here. I've become more cynical on this question because I used to be a guy, and I still think I am by and large. Like, oh, people can change and this and that, and I do believe people can change, but you have to do the work and you have to like show it. Like I'll be honest, Jimmy Havoc got in a lot of shit, I think, because he was like a serial like abuser or whatever. He just left the wrestling industry and he got a new job, and he's just been invisible ever since. I wish no harm to Jimmy Havoc at that point because I don't know if he's corrected the issues that made him that way. I can only hope that he did. But he didn't still try and get an in the industry where he caused all that abuse to begin with. He accepted it, he got a new life, and he moved on. And like a lot of people, I still feel like they feel like they're owed something when they get out as like, oh, I was homophobic or this and that. Mark Henry's come out, Hulk Hogan, may he rot in piss, and said, Hogan never like apologized to him or like really did anything meaningful. I think the New Day have said something similar. So like they just don't fucking change because I think they feel entitled to have the beliefs they do. Now, whether Trey is that way or not, only I guess Trey really knows. But I don't know. Like, I really can't blame Warner Brothers because while I don't think any company really believes in like social progress, like that rainbow capitalism, right? That we talk about, that it's Pride Month and they'll do like the rainbow theme stuff, but you don't really
Oh
give a
yeah,
shit about those
the
groups
one that
any
they
other
don't
time of the
really
year.
even do anymore because Trump.
Exactly, exactly. So it's not like corporations have a conscience or anything, right? Everything is always a PR maneuver for them. But focusing purely on those optics of PR and not the ones that actually matter, like equality, conscience, any of that stuff, I can't blame them because those are the rules they've always abided by. And with Trey, I can only hope that he's a better person, but I don't know. I mean, you really thought typing that up and posting it publicly was a good idea, which also makes me think, what do you say privately? Because if that was your okay line to post that publicly, sometimes I have to wonder, like, what do you think privately about such people? So I don't know. I really don't know. I'd like to believe that he's changed, but honestly, I get very cynical when I see most people really don't do that, and instead they double down and they feel entitled to the spot that they once had. So that's pretty much my thoughts on the subject.
All right, can we move on?
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have anything to add to that question, yeah, we can move on. Absolutely.
I mean, I really don't. I think you handled it perfectly, man.
All right, there you go. And you know what? To be fair to Foster, he said he never remembered Cameron Grimes apologizing for his racist tweets, and people just forgot about it. You know what? Thank you, Foster, for
Mm-hmm.
mentioning that because I am a fan of Cameron Grimes in the ring. I'll admit that. But yeah, he should make good. I mean, because we've seen in this moment, especially, there is no such thing as a private racist or an innocent racism or sexism or anything. It's a contagion. It likes to metastasize and corrode and corrupt everything that it's fucking a part of. You may think it's like an innocent joke, but it could spiral out real fucking quick and cause a lot of harm. So yeah, he should also make good. You're absolutely right about that, Foster, and I appreciate you for bringing that up because people like me should also be better. Hey, if I can go after Trey Miguel, go after Grimes. And yeah, fuck Grimes if he hasn't made good on it. I don't
I
care how
honestly
great of a
think
wrestler you
Trey
are.
Miguel probably said that shit out of insecurity. I think he probably feels insecure about his own appearance, and so he decided to be an asshole to somebody one day.
Yeah, and you're probably right. But like, it's such a shame that as a culture we've been conditioned that whenever we feel insecure about something, like that we cannibalize the person that would be a greater ally to us than the people that might actually be causing that insecurity.
Yeah,
So again, I hope he's
because
changed,
like,
but I can't really say.
what kind of mindset is that to tell somebody they're so ugly that they have to be gay? And like, also, what kind of mindset is it to think that being ugly means that you have to be gay? Like, does Trey Miguel think that gay men have lower standards than straight women? Like, how does that work?
I don't know how he squared that circle,
The
and I
ironic
don't know.
thing is, he's almost exactly incorrect. Like, women will date dudes that other dudes consider unattractive if he has the personality, if he's kind, if he's a good father figure. Like, if he has the right stuff, it doesn't fucking matter what his face looks like or how ugly he is. If he's not, an asshole like Trey Miguel apparently was, at least, if not is. Yeah, that really just reeks of insecurity to me. Honestly, it really does.
Absolutely. All right, so beautiful addition there, friend. Question 6 for both of us. If you were Cody, how do you respond to Jacob Fatu after he interrupted your interview with Cole on SmackDown? I did not see this, but I can still answer it because I'm me. I would cry and give up because I'm a talentless piece of shit that's taking up space for other people on the roster. And I would thank Jacob Fatu for being my superior and showing me the error of my ways. That's what I would do if I was Cody, but I'm not because I'm actually a sensible human being. So it's pretty much my aggressive
I
answer
don't
on
know if you
that.
saw my answer to this question. I was hoping that I gave such an aggressively angry answer that it would change Super Blue's mind about even asking this question because I find it ridiculous and frankly a little bit insulting that he would even ask it. But my answer
Yeah.
was if I was Cody, I would retire from pro wrestling and go bag groceries because that would be what I deserve. God damn it.
God, one thing among the plenitude of things that I love about associating with your face is I never have to worry about it being incorrect. And on the rare instance that it is, it's always receptive to being incorrect and correcting course. It's just beautiful, really. All
He
right.
really said,
Well,
if you were Cody, and like immediately right there, whatever else you are about to say doesn't matter. Because if I was Cody, I'm sabotaging my career so that I can't come back, so that I don't have to ever be on television when I get back to being myself.
look, not to be a douche in an unhot way, but it really bothers me that Cody can wake up as himself and think that that's okay. You know? Like, because I feel like if I woke up as Cody Rhodes, I looked in the mirror and I saw all that and had the personality to go with it, I would be like, oh my God, I need an intervention yesterday. And instead, this dude's like, no, I'm great. And I have never felt such a disconnect with somebody else. So yeah, very concerning. Um,
Cody is the quintessence of mediocre and still thinks he's great. And you are actually great and still have fraud. What is it called? Not fraud syndrome.
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Final question from Super Blue, and then Javaris did tack on a question.
Yes, he did.
So Super Blue is asking, what are your preview and predictions for the Royal Rumble? Oh God.
Roman wins
well,
men's.
Yeah, Roman wins men's. Do we? Who wins women's? I actually would Naomi be able to return for Rumble?
Hell
or do you
no.
think it's still too soon?
No, she's probably still preggers, frankly.
Yeah, I really, honestly, dude, I had lost track of time, so that wasn't me. Like, that was a genuine question. I really didn't know.
Do you remember when she announced that she was pregnant? Because I would imagine that she was only just a few months pregnant at that point.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think Naomi is viable.
I'm pretty sure that she announced that she was pregnant towards the end of the summer, which would mean that she's probably not going to give birth until spring.
Right. Okay. I typed it in as vague carts because I'm trying to type with one hand.
My money for Women's Rumble is on a returning Bianca Belair.
Okay, yeah, so she vacated August 18th. By the way, I love your pick of Bianca. That's great. That's great.
August 18th, I'm guessing she was around 2 months pregnant at that point at most. So add 7 months to August. We're talking 15, so that's March.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'm actually going to co-sign with your pick on Bianca because I missed the fuck out of her, and it had to be more than a finger injury. And I'm wondering, like, what all went on with her, but that's her business, and we'll either learn it or never learn it, and that's all there is to it. But yeah, I like the Bianca idea. I agree with you about Drew retaining. And is that just pretty much the card? Is just that world title match and the 2 Rumble matches? Is there anything else we know about?
I don't know. I guess I can look, but like, God, effort for this show? God.
Dude, right? Like, God, this is so beneath your whole face.
Royal Rumble 2026. Fine.
Kit Wilson should win the men's Rumble and go all the way in on the meme.
Styles Gunther in a career-threatening match.
Oh, really? Wow, because I knew AJ was going to retire at some point. Well, I guess this year, but I just didn't think it would be so soon. I guess it would be full circle, though, right? Because he debuted at a Rumble, like, what, 10 years ago?
It would be a literal decade since his debut, yeah.
Yeah. So Gunther's winning that one, clearly. Oh, man. Wow. Saying goodbye to AJ Styles. That's nuts. All right. I guess if that's it, we can go to Javaris' question, which is the final question for Q&A. Yeah. Unless people have tacked on more questions since then. No? Okay. Scale from 1 to 10, how back are we as Dragon Ball fans? Yes, Javaris has been psyched, everybody, just to set the stage, that we're getting a new Dragon Ball game, I believe, in 2027. I'm already thinking about Don Season 3 for 2027, but it's good to see that anime fans will have plenty to eat. Sparking Zero is getting new DLC in the meantime, and the Moro arc is happening in Super. If you were like me and thought that Super died, and we weren't getting any more Dragon Ball Super, you're mistaken, because we're finally going to be getting the Moro arc, which, you know, I've heard mixed things about, but some people are really hyped, and other people are like, eh.
If you loved the Cell arc, and I think that most Dragon Ball fans did, you're going to fucking love the Moro arc.
I see. Well, I did. In fact, sometimes I use the gif of Cell slowly dying when I've been intellectually decimated in a debate, which is rare, but it does happen. So, yeah, I would say, honestly, I don't know if I would want to say a 10 that we're back at like a 10 level. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe it will be really good. So you know what? Just in the spirit, like the festive spirit, I will say a 10. But if I was to really be pragmatic, I'd probably say more like an 8.5. Because I'll tell you about Sparking Zero. I've seen it get more negative feedback these days. I think mainly because of the DLC. And really, it's less about Sparking Zero, and I think just the current state of the gaming industry. I remember when you'd only had to pay $50 for a complete game, and now it seems like you have to spend $100 to complete a game, and that is fucking nuts. But yeah, I mean, the Moro arc should be fucking dope. And yeah, just good stuff all around. And I'm curious what this new DBZ game is gonna be. So yeah, just they're still doing stuff. R.I.P. Toriyama, but the legacy goes strong, and yeah, it's a good time. It's a
I
good
do want to
time.
just bring it back to the Royal Rumble thing. I think AJ is going to win the match in a way that does not win him the title, like DQ or whatever the fuck.
Right. Okay. Okay. I get you. I get you.
Anyway,
All right.
yeah, like Gunther's gonna get himself DQ basically. Um, anyway, uh, I'm gonna put it at a 10. Fuck it, I'm gonna put it all the way up at a 10. I think the Moro arc is gonna bring back a lot of Dragon Ball Z fans who maybe even didn't keep up with Dragon Ball Super, because I do think that it's going to appeal to those Cell Saga fans, and I think the Cell Saga was like the most successful saga in all of Dragon Ball history, like financially and like
Yeah.
viewership wise, you know.
Yeah, which is crazy because I always heard from Toriyama that he wanted to end the series, like he wanted to end the series originally after the Frieza arc because Goku becomes a Super Saiyan and this and that, and then he wanted to end it at the Cell arc because it's like, okay, well now it's a passing of the torch and we know that Gohan's the new protector, and then it was Boo and like all this stuff. So like yeah, they kept wanting more. I will say too, for the Moro arc, as a Vegeta fan, I hear that my boy does some really cool shit in that arc, and it's about time Vegeta fans got to eat because we get shit on a lot, but we're a proud fandom. We're a proud
You
fandom,
know
and we
how
endure.
Goku gets that really cool defensive ability at the end of the Universe Survival arc, Ultra Instinct, where it's like
Yes, Ultra. Yeah.
his body basically reacts to punches and stuff without him even needing to think about it. It's just perfectly like avoids everything, unable to get hit.
Yes.
Vegeta's ability that he learns, he actually learns it from Beerus, and it's called Ultra Ego.
Oh, that is so perfect.
Yes.
Perfect for my king, the true king of all Saiyans. Forget being a prince. We're upgrading in this bitch. All right. Well, now it's time for high spots and low shots. Let me think. God, low shot continues to be the U.S. for real. I mean, the World Economic Forum was embarrassing, but let me think of a proper low shot. Huh. I'm struggling a bit with this one. Let me go to wrestling terms. I guess wrestling terms would be fucking hmm. Damn. You know what? I'm gonna say Blake Monroe, because Jada Parker got the better of her on the mic again, and the crowd is just solely in Jada's corner. A weaker low shot, I admit, but again, I'm pretty disconnected from wrestling these days, and the real world so much is in chaos. It was a bit of a harder week, but I'm gonna say Blake Monroe had it pretty rough by wrestling standards. So yeah, I got the spotlight stolen from her. So who was your low shot?
Um, I think I am going to give my low shot to. Hmm. This is a tough one for me. No, you know what? It isn't. It's actually a really sad one. My low shot's going to go to Kizuna Tanaka, who unfortunately broke her leg this week. Um, I believe it was actually trying to catch someone, but it was really, really bad. It was like a Sid off the second rope in WCW type, like dangling situation, and I would definitely recommend nobody check it out.
Yeah, I definitely haven't, and I'll continue not to.
I
Um,
think that was this week.
I,
I didn't give that exact same low shot last week, did I?
no, I don't believe you did. I don't think. I don't think.
I
Um,
want to look and see. Um, you know what? I think I did actually. So I'm gonna give a different low shot just to make sure that I don't repeat my actual low shot this week, just to keep it a little bit more on the lighthearted side. I will say the Judgment Day is my low shot because they actually not only did they have help from Raquel, but they actually had the match won at one point and they just still could not get the job done. So they're my low shot.
I'm surprised you didn't go with Takumi Iroha because she did lose her GHC Women's
She lost
Championship.
that in
Javaris did.
She lost that on like January 3rd though is the
That's
thing.
true. Yeah, we did see it recently, but yeah, you are right that like yeah, that was back in January 3rd. Did you see that match by the way, Javaris? Because Jesus Christ, that match. Holy fuck. Um, High
Takumi
spot for
Iroha, you
me.
know what? I'm gonna stop calling her Joshi Brock Lesnar. She is Joshi Antonio Inoki. Or not Inoki, wrong one. Joshi Kenta Kobashi. There it is.
There you go. Oh, I love that. That's such a high compliment to her too. And as far as I'm concerned, well fucking deserved. Um, High spot for me, of course, I'm going to continue on this trend. Just the Minnesotan people. Honorary high spot to the Italian unions going against Maloney's government and striking for a better salary. There is an upheaval happening here, folks, and I don't know how far it's going to go, and I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket, but I never thought I'd see any of this shit in my lifetime. I will say, too, I wanted to tack this on. I didn't want to interrupt the pop culture segment when we were doing it, and you were in a good flow, and I didn't want to, make it completely jarring, but since I've brought it back to Minnesota, Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut put out that apparently Pam Bondi just sent a letter to Minnesota officials. This was like an hour or so ago. And she said there were apparently 4 demands, and I only know of 2 of them. I don't know what the other 2 were. She said ICE will leave if the state turns over its voter database to Trump. That was one of the demands. Another one of the demands, according to people in the comments when I saw this image, was that they wanted Minnesota to repeal sanctuary laws for I guess immigrants. So I don't know. Apparently there were 4 demands in the letter. Those were only 2. They want the voter database and they want sanctuary laws repealed. Again, this is a completely authoritarian takeover. They want to
At
meddle with
this
elections
point,
because
I'm not convinced that Tim Walz is going to do anything but just comply. Because I've
yeah,
completely lost respect for that man. I'm convinced that he's just going to bend the knee and comply.
yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Again, it is up to the working class people of Minnesota and really across the country and across the world to do fucking anything because the establishment class does not give a fuck about us. They are in lockstep with the oligarchic psychopaths and the fascists, on the ground, the bootlickers that want to make life hell for the rest of us. I really, really hope that this isn't capitulated to. But again, like you, the Walls disgusts me. Jacob Frey, I think, is a fucking poser. He disgusts me. And yeah, so again, this is clearly about election interference because I do think Trump is scared of the midterms. I don't know why, because the Democrats are a fucking toothless, controlled opposition. They're not even a real opposition party. But he is scared of the midterms. He is scared of that, I guess, perception, if nothing else, of like, oh God, we're weak and, we're failing. So that's why I give my high spot again to the people, because revolutions always start from the bottom. Revolution never comes from the top, ever. Ever. It always starts in the bottom, and the solidarity we're seeing in Minnesota is fucking beautiful, and I can be realistic about what's happening, but also celebrate the wins and the hope when it's earned and it's struggled for, and that's Minnesota right now, and I hope it extends to Portland. I know ICE is also in Maine currently. Fuck these people. Fuck this institution. And that goes for both sides, because Democrats have voted for ICE funding. Obama inherited ICE when it was a fledgling agency, and in his second term, he gave it $18 billion. Biden expanded private prison contracts. They're not your friends. They're not your friends. And just, again, everybody keep doing what you can. Power to the people. All power to all the people. So there you go. Who was your high spot?
Sami Zayn, because
Excellent.
he won,
Excellent.
the right to challenge Drew for the title at Rumble, and he did it in Canada.
That could be another match of the year contender, man. I'm telling 2026 is low key kind of flexing right now. We'll see.
I definitely don't buy that.
I mean, hey, I think those two have great chemistry together. I think Sammy's a great baby face. He knows how to really sell and struggle, and Drew is a hoss. I'm not counting it out. It really all comes down to the booking. How overbooked is it going to be? All that shit. But if they really just have a straightforward match with maybe some cheating by Drew, could be a really fun one. I'm keeping my mind open to that. So, with that said, guys, that is it. That is the weekly recap. Be sure to leave a like as you file out. Subscribe with the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Blue Sky and Twitch because we are the best podcast on the internet today. And we'll see you guys probably Wednesday for more Monty Gold. I'll be sure to keep Ashton posted, and then he'll in turn keep the Discord posted. I feel like everybody that's in our chats regularly for this type of content, you do have Discord memberships. So really all I would say is just keep your eye on the Discord for news about that. But I would think Wednesday, and I'm assuming we'd get away with 6, because I don't think we'll have that much of a card from Monty Gold this week, now that we caught up on First Stream 2026 and everything else. But, again, we'll see. We'll have a final determination on the Discord. Then, we do Stardom some recaps on Thursday. We'll have to see what that looks like going into next week, because I know we already have some stuff that we'll do. And then, yeah, if you're just here for this, if you're like, I just want everything talked about in one place at one time, then you can join us again for weekly recaps, Saturdays, 10:30. So we'll see you then. If you're one of the states that's really still affected by the storm and going through it, I wish you luck. I know we're set to get a shit ton of
That's
storm. It is, and it's also me. And I know we're getting set to get a shit ton of snow Sunday into Monday. Be safe. I hope you've got your essentials, or can still get your essentials if you haven't already, that you're well stocked on everything, and that you have plenty of heat sources to stay warm. It is no fucking joke. So all my thoughts going out to you guys. And, again, it's up to us as much as we can. How does the Marxist phrase go? From each according to their ability, to each according to their need. That has never mattered more than it does right now. So until then, be good to yourselves and especially to each other. Tune in and peace out.